Hello there, welcome back to my views and news. Three new stories from Ethiopia for you. First one is about the release of some prisoners, POWs by Fano fighters. The Fano fighters have captured thousands, or you can say hundreds of prisoners so far. The prisoners include police militia members, ENDF soldiers, some Prosperity Party members. Some prisoners have been released a few hours ago. Who are they? Why did Fano release them? Did Fano release them or they managed to escape? Secondly, since yesterday a video is in circulation. It is being claimed as if Fano is facing shortage of logistics. Is this a new video? I want to say a few words. And lastly, pro-Fano activists, journalists, Ethio 360 people are threatening an Ethiopian businessman, an Amhara businessman. Who is he? Why is he being threatened by these pro-Fano elements? Last year in 2021, everyone was all praise for this businessman when he supported the Fano factions in the war against Tigray fighters. Firstly, viewers, the Fano fighters have freed some prisoners. We got confirmation through some sources. Who are these prisoners? Why were they freed? They were freed. They did not escape, reportedly. A few days ago, I reported that Fano fighters entered Avoreda in Ago Avi zone, Dangala Avoreda. And Dangala Avoreda chief Baile Zaidu was kidnapped by Fano fighters. Some other Voreda officials were also kidnapped. There was no Ethiopian National Defense Force, or there was very little deployment of Ethiopian National Defense Force in Dangala. So Fano managed to enter Dangala, and the administrator was kidnapped, and he was taken to an unknown location. And if you remember, I said that maybe ENDF deliberately retreated from Dangala to teach a lesson to Agos. ENDF wants Agos to stand on ENDF side in the military operation against Fano fighters. And Agos are not actively supporting Fano factions. We know that. Fano factions have less presence in Ago Avi zone than in Gojum Gondar. Now, reportedly, the Voreda chief abducted by Fano fighters has been released. Baile Zaidu and other officials abducted from Dangala have been freed. They have been reunited with their families. We got this confirmation through some sources. And why did Fano fighter release Dangala, war the administrator? It's a very strategic move. Ago people are floating votes, you can say. They are neutral to some extent. Fano fighters don't want Agos to be on military side. They want Agos to support Fano, or at least Agos should stay neutral. So they don't want to create animosity with Agos. If a war administrator is captured and then he is killed, it means that it will aggravate the already ongoing tension between Fano fighters and Ago zonal, local level government officials. And Agos could start proactively supporting Ethiopian military. So it's a strategic move. Fano fighters released the war administrator with a message given to the administrator that Ago people, Ago zonal government officials, city government officials, they must not support the military operation against Fano fighters. With the message, administrator has been released, but it's difficult for Ago administrators, even for Amhara administrators too, regional, zonal to stay neutral. They cannot stay neutral. They can either support Fano. If they support Fano, obviously they'll be arrested by military, or they can support military. If they support military, they'll be abducted, kidnapped, assassinated by Fano fighters. So, regional, zonal, city government officials, Prosperity Party members are in a difficult position. But that is what the cost of serving in Amhara region is now. So, Dangala administrator freed by Fano fighters. Second, viewers, yesterday a video was posted by some social media activists of Mere Vodajo. Mere Vodajo is a Fano commander, East Amhara Fano commander. East Amhara Fano was not disbanded by military last year. Other Fano factions were disbanded. But East Amhara Fano fought along Ethiopian military last year in the third round of fighting between Tigray forces and Ethiopian military. And East Amhara Fano fought on front lines. But after the signing of Pretoria deal, things changed, and East Amhara Fano also came under crackdown, and Mere Vodajo was close to have been captured once. But he made peace with the Ethiopian generals after some clashes near Kobo. Later things changed when Amhara Prosperity Party member was assassinated, Girma Shitela. Mere was accused of the assassination, and then military again started operation against East Amhara Fano. Mere Vodajo's video has been in circulation since yesterday. He can be heard saying that Fano fighters need logistics, food, etc. That Fano fighters up until now have been fighting, surviving, but now they're in need of logistics. People contacted me and said, Sajid, why aren't you speaking? Fano is in trouble. You say as if your talk suggests as if Fano has no logistical problems, but here Mere Vodajo is saying that Fano could be weakened if there is no logistical support. Well, this clip of Mere Vodajo is not a new clip. I think it's a few months old. It's from June, I think, if I remember correctly. And back then, obviously, that was the start in June. It was the start of operation in Amhara. Back then, Fano had less support. But when major military operation was launched against Fano and Fano then started taking control of territories, we saw support for Fano fighters. How much money is being raised for Fano fighters in the US, Europe, America, Canada? Tens of thousands of US dollars. And obviously this money is being channeled into the Amhara region. Fano fighters will receive this money and logistics. Those who are donating money, they'll ensure that money reaches those for which they're donating. Logistics is not a problem. Problem is that these Fano factions are working separately, independently, they're operating. In some cases, they could be under logistical pressure because of the nature of this conflict. It does not mean that as a whole, all Fano factions are facing logistical problems. They don't need lots of weapons, they just need food to survive on. They're not using lots of vehicles, they're not using any heavy weapons. They're very mobile, very swift, so they can survive. I don't think that Fano as a whole is under logistical pressure. Some, maybe a few units could be in trouble, but overall Fano is not facing shortage of logistics, shortage of manpower too. This video is a few months old according to my research. Thirdly, viewers, Amhara businessman is being threatened. That Amhara businessman who wore military uniform, Fano's uniform in 2021 to support the war on Tigray, to defend from Tigray's infiltration into Amhara. Worku Aytenaw was one of the main sponsors contributors of financial resources for Fano's fight against Tigray fighters when Tigray fighters entered Amhara region in July 2021. Beline Kinde and Worku Aytenaw, especially Worku Aytenaw, were two main faces. These Amhara businessmen supported Fano fighters financially. But things changed after that. And now, when there is a conflict in the Amhara region and Amhara resistance movement is ongoing, Worku Aytenaw is being accused of supporting the government. Last night, Ethio 360 journalists lashed out at Worku Aytenaw. They threatened Worku Aytenaw that Worku must be careful. What he is doing is not right. Beline Kinde is also being accused by Fano activists, pro-Fano elements. Masrisha was also criticized by Ethio 360 people last night. Where is Masrisha? He's silent. My understanding is that businessmen never go against governments. Businessmen cannot survive. Their businesses can be taken over by government. Their accounts can be frozen by government. No businessman in any part of the world can go against the government, especially in an area where there are no institutions, no independent judiciary. So who will protect this businessman? So businessmen always go with governments. Worku Aytenaw supported the Fano fighters in 2021. Why? Because back then military, government all wanted Amhara businessmen to support Fano. Now people in power don't want Amhara businessmen to support Fano fighters. So that is why Worku Aytenaw, Beline Kinde will not support Fano fighters. They can only support secretly. And even that is difficult. They will stay neutral or they'll support the government. Fano fighters and pro-Fano elements, they want Worku Aytenaw to financially support Fano fighters, which is not possible. Where is Masrisha? Yes, Masrisha's silence is surprising. Zamine Kasi has also been a little off color too, I think. He has not been very active. When he was released, I said there was some sort of secret deal between Zamine Kasi and Ethiopian government, Amhara government. These old Fano commanders, Zamine Kasi, Masrisha, their role in the ongoing resistance movement is insignificant. Other Fano commanders have emerged. Skandar was nowhere last year. The Colonel Fantahun was nowhere last year. But now these are the men who are leading, who are risking their lives. So now things are being controlled by these new faces. Old faces like Masrisha and Zamine Kasi are nowhere to be seen.